And so we know we have to take action. And now we're heading today, we're 756 days since the United States Senate has passed a budget. We haven't passed a budget. So when you don't have enough money and the course that you're on is unsustainable, you need to develop a plan that puts you on a sustainable path. How simple is that? That's grown-up talk. And how do you do it? What's our mechanism in the Congress? This is a budget. This is Title 2, Section 271 through et sec, and it has the Budget Act. We passed a Budget Act. It's law. Clever Congress didn't put any penalties on it, so we can violate it and not go to jail. We don't have to personally pay fines. But it represented a serious commitment by previous Congress that we needed a budget, and they also made as part of that budget law that it could be passed with a simple majority, so it could not be filibustered. That was one of the reasons budgets sometimes failed to be passed. And so they, at a time when they were thinking about the future, said, let's make the budget passable by a simple majority. It also has timelines in it. It says that the Congress must pass the budget by April 15th. Well, we're long past that. Long past that. Are we going on to a third year now without a budget? 1,000 days without a budget? While our country is on a debt path, unsustainable to a degree that threatens the future of America economically? People say, well, surely, Jeff, that's not so. Surely there's some plan. There's not any plan. Not a plan to pass a budget. What there is a plan to do is not pass a budget. So on Monday, I objected. I realized what's going on in the Senate, that there's no plan to deal with this, that there's a gimmicked up scheme to bring up a series of budget votes that the majority leader knows will not pass. Indeed, he intends to bring up a vote on a budget that he and all his colleagues intend to vote against, the most responsible budget out there, the House budget passed by the Republican House. That's what they want to bring up and vote on, and vote against it. But the Budget Act doesn't say bring up the House budget. It says each House, the Senate and the House, should bring up their own budget, and they should pass it on the floor. It should go to committee. None of the budgets we'll be voting on have gone to committee. We've had no markups in the committee, not even had a markup on the budget. So why? What is this? What is going on? Let me share with my colleagues why we're not having a legitimate process to produce a budget at the most critical financial time in our history. And it's for politics. Does that surprise you? This is what Democratic staffers said, quoted in the Wall Street Journal article a few days ago. What did they say about it? Did they say we have a plan to solve America's future? Did they say we have a plan to improve our debt and reduce our debt and get us on a sound path? Did they say we understand that the future of the country is endangered by an unsustainable debt growth? No, they didn't say that. This is what they said. As a political matter, Senate Democratic strategists say there may be little benefit in producing a budget that would inevitably include unpopular items, close quote. So they don't want to produce a budget because they have an honest budget, a budget that would make a difference. It would have some unpopular items in it. Now I ask, is that responsible leadership? I suggest no. Is that what it's all about? Is that what we're here about? It's not what many of my Democratic colleagues tell me. They tell me they know we're on an unsustainable path and we've got to do something. But why are we going through this charade? to bring up 1, 2, 3 budgets, and vote them all down, and then say, well, we tried. Maybe we'll have some secret talks over here, and we'll plop something down right before some emergency date and demand everybody vote for it, half having had a chance to read it. Is that what the process is going to be, instead of the open process, where the Budget Committee has open hearings, has amendments offered, a budget is voted out of committee, it comes to the floor, there's a guaranteed 50 hours of debate, but the process comes to an end. The Budget Act sets forth how you can't filibuster it. It has only a limited time of debate, but there's an opportunity to debate, an opportunity to offer amendments. So we're told, well, you know, Senator Reid, he doesn't want his members to have to take tough votes. Well, none of us like to take tough votes. None of us like to take tough votes. Isn't that what we're paid for here? Isn't that why they send us here? To vote on important, tough issues that impact the future of our nation? So this is what Senator Reid said just a few days ago, I think Friday. Quote, "There's no need to have a Democratic budget, in my opinion." Well, there is a need, of the statutory legal requirement that we have a budget out of the Senate. Then he said, quote, "It would be foolish to present one." Why does he say it would be foolish? I think my good friend Senator Reid has taken his eye off the national interest. He's taken his eye off the crisis that our country faces. And he's got his eye on politics. He means it's foolish politically because he has a scheme. And this is what his scheme is: to bring up the House plan, the Ryan plan, which is really, in all honesty, the only plan I've seen in my time in the Senate that comes close to having a long-term financial alteration of the unsustainable path we are on. So what does our leader in the Senate do, and his colleagues who support him? They've made a decision to do something political, not responsible, not put forth a vision that they would have for the future, but to bring up the Ryan budget so they can all vote against it. Now, I don't think that's responsible. I don't think it's responsible at all. So I'm not going to participate in a scheme or this plot, have some sort of a series of votes that count me out. I'm not supporting it. I'm not going to give a consent to it, my consent to it. That's the way I see it. I don't see it makes sense. If I did, I'd change my mind. But I see that it makes no sense for me to in any way consent to a process that is designed to fail. The whole thing is designed to fail. And I'll just conclude with a quote from the preamble to the Fiscal Commission debt report. This is what they wrote to us. Quote, "In the weeks and months to come, countless advocacy groups and special interests will try mightily through expensive, dramatic, and heart-wrenching media assaults to attempt to exempt themselves from the shared sacrifice and the common purpose. The national interest, not the special interest, must prevail. We urge leaders and citizens with principled concerns about any of our recommendations to follow what we call the Becerra rule. Don't shoot down an idea without offering a better idea in its place." Well, isn't that a reasonable request? Don't shoot down an idea unless you're prepared to present a better one in its place. Isn't that exactly opposite of what our Democratic leadership is proposing? They're proposing to bring up a budget that they say they don't like. They're going to vote it down without producing anything in its place. That is not responsible leadership. It's not respectful of the budget process required by law, and is not in the national interest.